Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the All About Digital Marketing podcast. I'm Chris Bruno, I'm your host. I'm also the CEO of Social Inc. And we're an agency where we focus on creating content for our clients that they can use again and again and again through social media, through their online channels, and really help to give their audience a chance to get to know people. Now, the reason I'm saying that today, and you know that usually I don't talk a huge amount about Social Inc., is because I want to talk about creating content. And this is a bit of a generic episode, but it's also one of the most important parts, I think, that often gets overlooked. We talk a lot about tactics, tools, platforms, hacks, tricks, ways to do things, but actually there's a step that goes before that. And that's what I want to talk about today. We all hear it everywhere, all the time, and we're the first to say it out loud on our channels as well. You need to be creating content. You've probably even heard the expression content is king. What does that even mean? Gary Vee talks about, getting 100 pieces of content out there every single day and how you can repurpose one thing into loads and loads of pieces. The reality is for most of us, and I put my hand up and I include me and even ourselves and our agency, is that that's just unrealistic. We can't do that. It's hard work. It takes time. It takes effort. And for a lot of us, we don't manage to actually make that happen. So when it comes to creating content, what should you actually be doing? How much content? Why? Where? What sort of content, etc. And I think that's the thing that we want to talk about today, and that's what I really want to focus on today. My question to you, would you prefer to have one piece of great content that goes out? Something that, people really engage with, something that they like to watch, they share, they comment, they like, they tell their friends about? Or would you rather post 5 times, 20 times a day and just kind of get lost in and amongst all the other content that's out there without knowing what your purpose was, without having an objective, without really understanding what it was that would make this piece of content great and a success for you? So something that we talk to a lot of our clients about, especially in those early stages, is we forget that what we're doing and marketing efforts should always be objective driven. Now, what do I mean by objective driven? Posting on social media for the sake of posting on social media is a waste of time. It's a waste of effort. It's a waste of resources. And it realistically is probably going to get you no results. A lot of us feel like we have to create. We have to be posting. We have to be sharing. So we just do it for the sake of it. You're on Facebook, you're on Twitter, and you post from your business's profile because you know that you have to, you should be, everyone's telling you to. But for a lot of us, we've forgotten that, again, there's a purpose behind all of this. We're trying to provide real value or real insight for our clients. We're trying to get that potential audience to engage with us. And the only way that we can really do that is by giving that real value and by sharing the real who we are. And that's something that I think is what I wanted to talk about today. It's been bugging me because I feel like I don't really talk about it enough. Maybe I do, and you can let me know on social channels or leave a comment anywhere that you can to tell me if I talk about it too much. But instead of doing all that, instead of just doing it for the sake of doing it, instead of frantically looking for your phone and typing away and just desperately trying to get something else out there, what I'd like to do is take you back to the beginning. And this is what we do as an agency with clients, but you can also do this exercise on your own and try and start with the right fundamentals, the right foundations to help you go forward. So, number one, where does your potential audience, where do your potential clients hang out? This is a really important question that a lot of people haven't taken the time to actually look at, think about, do a bit of research and actually address. There's no point in being on Twitter, for example, if actually all your clients are on, or your potential clients are actually on TikTok. If you're hitting up that teenage group and you're trying to hit them up for music, fashion, something in particular that might be around that. We often forget about these things. And the same is true vice versa. So if you're a financial services company working with B2B, chances are you don't need to be doing a bottle flip challenge on TikTok. But what you should definitely be doing is hammering LinkedIn to make sure that you're getting in front of the right audience. So spend a little bit of time. There's a ton of research that you can find out there online. You'll find demographic breakdowns of which platforms attract which sort of people, what sort of age groups, everything like that. You'll also be able to look into it in terms of geographically, how people are sort of spread out. So are you looking for clients in the UK? Are you looking for clients in Europe? Are you looking for clients in the US? All of these questions should be asked, and you should be looking into this in a really data-driven way this is one of the platforms where I'm most likely to succeed. I'm most likely to get my content in front of the right people. Where they spend time is where you should spend time. That's the fundamental starting point. So instead of having 20 channels, if you come down to having one channel, but the one channel where they really hang out and where they consume content, you're already probably 10x more likely to start seeing some results. Okay, number 2, what sort of content do they like to consume? Now, this one takes a little bit more time. Sorry about the bang. This one takes a little bit more time. This is something that you need to research. There's no easy fix for this. There's no trick to it, I'm afraid. You need to have a look at your competitors, see what other people in the industry are doing, see what other people are posting, what they're sharing, what kind of content is getting the most traction, the most likes, the most comments, the most interactions. That's really going to make a difference in terms of understanding what it is that they're actually interested in. And whilst you're looking at this content, try not to just look at it from a point of view of, oh, well, there was a video that did quite well, or, oh, there's lots of social graphics or social media quote graphics or whatever it might be. Try to actually understand what the concept of the content itself was. Is it something educational? Is it a video explaining how to use a product? Is it a video explaining how the industry is working? Whatever it might be. But stuff like that is going to give you a huge amount of insight into what's going to actually work. And this, again, is going to help dictate what your next steps are going to be. So far, we've got where they're hanging out. Now we've got an idea of what they're consuming, what kind of content they're looking at. And now we can actually start moving forward with what it is that we're going to do. Number 3, what are their issues and problems? We all sell products or services, and we believe that our product is the best because it's the cheapest, because it's got the most features, because it's whatever it might be. The reality is most people buy a product because it solves an issue for us. So you think about what the last things that you buy, it might be a pair of running shoes because you need something to make you more comfortable if you're going to start running, whatever it might be. Or if you look at your iPhone, you know, if you just needed something to make telephone calls, you wouldn't buy an iPhone. But actually it solves that problem for us, or that issue, in terms of staying connected, being able to connect with everyone on all the different platforms. It's a great tool. It also doubles up as a camera. So we're solving multiple things at the same time. We often forget about this, especially as small business owners, because we're just so busy, and it's normal. What is it that we actually do? What is it that we actually solve for our clients? What's the issues that we're trying to help them overcome? And it could be emotional, it could be physical, it doesn't matter. All of these things make a difference, because now what we're doing is we know where, we know what kind of content, and now we can start figuring out what it is that we're actually going to talk about. What are the key points that we should be looking at? What are the key things that we should be explaining about? What are the key problems that they're having that we could help solve and address, so that there's a positive relationship starting with our audience on one of these social channels? And this is huge. This is a really big step. This isn't easy. This is an exercise that will take time. This is what we always kind of refer to as, working on the business rather than in the business. And trust me when I say all of us struggle with this. I'm the first person to say that I struggle with this. We try to put blocks of time into our calendar at least once a month. Every quarter, there's a massive overhaul of what are we doing, how are we doing this, why are we doing it? All of these questions you need to ask yourself. But these things are going to help you really focus on what it is that you really should be talking about, what it is that you really should be creating for your audience. Now, step 4 is the interesting part. Now we can start creating content. But now we're not creating content for the sake of creating content, and we're definitely not creating 100 pieces of content to fill up loads of channels or anything else. By this point in your exercise, you might even realize that actually posting on Instagram just doesn't work for your business. Or you might find that LinkedIn is not the place to sell flip-flops or whatever it might be. But you're going to realize that there's a channel there that you should be focusing on, that you should be making effort on. You're going to know what type of content to be creating. So should it be videos? Should it be graphics? Should it be posts about the product? Should it be offers? Should it be whatever? That's going to allow you to start looking at that and understanding that. And then you're going to be really focusing on creating content that addresses a specific problem. This is what I'm doing for this episode of the podcast. For me, content creation is a huge part of what we do, and it's also a huge part of what everyone should be doing. So I try and address this, I try and plan out content, and I try and make sure that I've got a few different bullet points that I know that I want to talk about, which allows me to create this content slightly more fluidly. You can do the same. It's not rocket science. So now you can start creating that content on a specific platform with a specific audience in mind and a specific goal. We're trying to get people to sign up to our newsletter, for example, because we're offering them insight into content creation. It's just an example, but it works for everybody. If you can give enough value and create that positive relationship, then people are going to take an action to find out more, to get more information, to get more insight, to get more of that juice that they've been getting that they like. And that's what we're trying to do with social media. We want an objective. So if we're creating posts for a client, it'll be based on, this is what's happening. There's an online event. Here's the link. You can register. These are directly correlated and they have a direct relationship so that we know when we post this many people go through to this link and this many people sign up to the event. Those are real results. The likes, the shares, the comments, they help us to understand what's more interactive in terms of the content. But the final objective really is to get people to that event. And we want to be doing the same thing with all of our posts, and you guys should be doing the same thing too. If you're still stuck for ideas, this is what's really interesting. You can go through your own customer interactions. What are some of the issues that they keep bringing up? What are some of the problems that they're having with the product, with the service, with the tool that you offer? Whatever it might be, the chances are you've had some complaints. They might not be complaints. It might be customer services. How do I do this? What about this? How does this product work for that? And all of these questions give you a wealth of understanding as to what you could address before the client even brings it up. It's a hugely, hugely impactful tactic. And it's something that's done in sales a lot. But basically, you're trying to deal with any negatives in advance. And that's what we're trying to do. So again, remember that. And again, look back over your sales processes. How did you get that client on board? What were some of the conversations you had? And even better, by the way, speak to some of your best clients. Speak to some of your best clients, ask them to jump on a Zoom call, ask them if they don't mind if you record it. It doesn't have to be used for public purpose, but if you can record it, you can then read a transcript of that and you'll understand what it was that made them sign up. What was that little factor that differentiated you from a competitor? Why was it that they bought your product and not somebody else's? And slowly but surely, you'll start to figure out the problems that you solved for them, what it is that they wanted to know or understand in that sales process. And now you can start creating content that drives people through that process, but actually is answering all of these questions long before they've even asked them. And that's what we're really looking to do. If you're still stuck on content and if you're still not sure what to do, please do hit us up. You can find us on all the socials at allaboutdigmar. I'd love to hear from you, and I will personally reply to any of the texts or tweets or social interactions that we get, and I'll try and give you 5 ideas for your industry or for your business. The reality is the scope is huge. You could create content about everything. We know that we can do the same thing. But what we really want to be doing is creating the right content for the right people and distributing it in the right place. That's the key to success. So don't create content for the sake of creating content, but create real good content for the right people and push it out on the right place. I guarantee you, you will find more results. If you've enjoyed this episode, I'd like to say thank you so much for listening. If you've been listening for a while, thank you so much again. Please do hit that subscribe button. It really helps us to understand what's working and what's not. And also check us out on YouTube. We are putting all the episodes and all the live interviews onto YouTube, all about Digmar. Again, you can find us. There's a link in the bottom here, but we'd really appreciate a like or a subscribe over on the YouTube channel. You can also go out and check out, this is the last episode. We've come to the end of lockdown. I'm having a haircut. So this is the last episode where I look like an absolute mess. But anyway, that's besides the point. Thank you so much, everyone. If you have any questions, let us know. And in the meantime, stay safe and we'll catch up again soon.